You're watching the show that puts Mid-Michigan news in focus. This is Focal Point.
Coming up on Focal Point, a local apartment fire has displaced dozens of MSU students.
An empty student section sparks MSU officials to address student seating during home football games. I'll have that story up for you tonight on Focal Point.
And you may have seen this man standing on the corner of Lake Lansing and Coolidge Road. Find out why he's always out there. Focal Point starts now.
Good evening, I'm Aaron Jordan.
And I'm Max Gunn. Welcome to Focal Point. A fire in one of the Chandler Crossing's apartment buildings last week forced many MSU students to relocate. Many valuables were lost, but fortunately nobody was injured. As black smoke filled the air, MSU students living in Chandler Crossing's Building 6 could only hope for the best.
And all of a sudden, I just look over and the roof is in flames.
Laura Armando is a Michigan State senior and one of 36 people who had to evacuate.
I thought someone just left a burner on or something like that. I thought it was funny.
Armando and others affected by the damage needed a new place to stay, so Chandler Crossing's management called MSU grad student Shireen Corksan, who had a 4-bedroom apartment to herself.
Hi, Shireen Corksan. There was a fire in Building 6, so 3 residents will be moving in within a few hours. I said, what?
But despite the short notice, Corksan was happy to help.
I just totally stocked up on groceries and just bought random stuff, even stuff I wouldn't eat myself, but because I said, I don't know, like, do they have allergies? Are they vegan?
Hey, can I call you back in 5 minutes?
Adam Martin is the manager of Chandler Crossings. He said his biggest concern is always safety.
As soon as the fire chief cleared that everyone was out of the building, no one was hurt, nothing like that at all. I was relieved, but then my mindset goes to management and to handling the students that were displaced.
Martin said his well-prepared staff is the reason why affected residents had new homes within 12 hours.
Like I tell my staff, you do the little things every single day, then the grand picture is not so grand.
As for what caused the fire, Martin said he still isn't sure. He has a team of investigators working on finding out what happened, and while they have several theories, they aren't ready to reveal them until the investigation is complete. Many students lost critical belongings, such as laptops, driver's license, and passports. But since Armando's apartment was on the first floor of the 3rd floor fire, she was only faced with smoke and water damage, and was able to retrieve most of her things.
I really worry for those people that got their apartment burned to the ground. It could have been me.
Armando said she doesn't know if and when she will be allowed back in her apartment, but the support has been overwhelming.
From my friends that let me borrow blankets, pillows, clothes, shoes, it was amazing to see how much friends can do for you.
Residents are being updated from the management company through calls, emails, texts, and Facebook posts. The American Red Cross has also reached out to victims of the fire, providing them with toiletries and other basic living essentials. And construction is underway right next to Chandler Crossings to build another apartment complex called The Rocks. The Rocks will feature 4 separate apartments ranging from 1 to 4 bedrooms. It will feature many amenities, including an indoor basketball court, fitness center, and swimming pool. The new complex is being built on the corner of Chandler and Coleman Road, right next to Tim Hortons, and the leasing company is now accepting deposits for fall 2015. Construction is expected to be complete in August. For more information on the new apartment complex, visit therocks@msu.com.
With the November election less than a month away, many students are gearing up to vote. Some students vote absentee in their home district, while others choose to vote here in East Lansing. Either way, it can get confusing, especially for first-time voters. East Lansing City Clerk Marie Wix's message to students going into November is simple.
I don't care where you vote, I care that you vote.
You're supposed to vote. It's being active. It's, participating in government.
And for those registered in their hometowns unable to make it back for Election Day, there still is an opportunity to make their voice heard.
As long as you have either voted or registered to vote and in person and you've shown your ID to an election official or at the Secretary of State, you are eligible to vote absentee.
An option some students are taking advantage of.
I'm more comfortable voting in New Jersey because that's actually where I live, so I just go to school here.
For students registered to vote on campus, there have been a few changes from years past.
That if you live on campus, you vote on campus. When you move off of campus, you vote off of campus.
Here at IM East is one of 3 polling locations that students can go to vote on campus. Wicks told me that approximately 1,500 students are registered to vote, more than the 2012 presidential election. They used to have a company go into the dorms to register students, but that was discontinued for security reasons, as was voting in the dorms.
The dorms really need a higher level of security. So, and the other issue that we had is that there's construction constantly ongoing in the dorms or maintenance, and so we were having to move our precincts around, our polling locations. This
November, students voting on campus will vote in IM East, the Union, and IM West. The November election will be held on Tuesday, November 4th. Polls will be open from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. that day. Well, the MSU Surplus Store held its Fall Community Reuse Days earlier this month. The event, which meant extended hours at the Surplus Store, allows people to bring unwanted household items in for donation. Managers at the Surplus Store say that it is mostly MSU faculty and staff that participate in this event and that a wide variety of items were donated.
Seen it all. Anything from somebody's big jungle gym that they didn't need anymore, they took down and they brought to us, to simply your day-to-day old telephones that people don't use anymore. Everybody switched over to the cell phone. So that type of thing, answering machines, old AV equipment, audio equipment, that kind of stuff.
While this event lasted during special hours, the Surplus Store accepts donations throughout the year during their normal business hours. Well, in times of despair and trouble, many people turn to prayer. But for one man in particular, serving God and praying for everyone has become his life.
Focal Point's Mikayla Robertson joins us now to tell us about a man named Stan. Mikayla?
Well, Max, he parks himself on the side of the road, absorbed in prayer, and is preaching to anyone who is willing to listen.
If you've ever driven down Lake Lansing toward Coolidge, you may have seen Stan, a man whose ministry resides on this corner and consists of worship,
Father God,
and praying for others.
God bless you for stopping.
Stan's sign tells of his son's condition, how he likes to pray for people, and how he also helps the poor.
When God told me to come out here and start doing this, I wrestled with him a little bit about it at first because I had way too much pride to come out and stand on a street corner. But he finally got it through my thick head that
you'll have to excuse my messy car.
I should listen to him. The blessings you people give to me, I turn around and put back into the kingdom of God. I use it to help the poor and the needy, the homeless and the hungry.
Like those at the Lansing City Outreach Homeless Shelter.
Right now he's really helping out down here. He comes down on a daily basis. He's helped out financially with things when we've had feeding things, so we feed a lot here.
I appreciate being able to come here. Gets my day started.
However, as a father, Stan's main focus is making sure his son Peter receives the prayers and blessings he needs.
Son's name's Peter and he needs a new kidney. If you guys would pray for him, I'd be forever blessed. And help me remember the homeless and the poor, okay?
And his son Peter is very appreciative.
Thank you, Dad, for all that you have done for me. I love you so much.
I just appreciate Stan for everything he's done to help us through this situation, and that he's always there when I call.
God bless you, sir. May it come back 100-fold in Jesus' name.
Whether he's on the corner, at the shelter, with his family, or in the church, Stan's pastor says he finds a way to serve the Lord and change the world.
Anything to try to make a difference in our world. He has taught me that you really have to step outside of the box.
I just pray that you people look at me when you see me standing on a street corner and see more than just somebody asking for a handout, because that's not what I'm all about.
Before we judge a thing, pray about it. You may be passing an angel.
Hallelujah.
For Focal Point, I'm Mikayla Robertson.
After all the contributions that Stan received from drivers, Peter's mom says that Peter is scheduled to have his kidney procedure done next month, and his sister will be the kidney donor. Michigan Secretary of State Ruth Johnson, alongside First Lady Sue Snyder, received a special set of license plates to raise money for breast cancer screenings. The plates feature a pink ribbon and cost $35 more than your average plates. Senator Glenn Anderson introduced the bill to get the plates made, which was signed into law in December 2013. Breast cancer is the second leading cause of death among Michigan women. Only heart disease takes more lives.
The U.S. Supreme Court recently paved the way for legal same-sex marriages in 5 more states. The court refused to hear cases from Indiana, Oklahoma, Utah, Virginia, and Wisconsin in an effort to keep their same-sex marriage bans in place. Couples in some of those states began applying for marriage licenses just hours after the court's decision. The circumstances of wedded couples here in Michigan remains unclear. And with the November 4th election just around the corner, both candidates for governor participated in a town hall forum last Sunday in front of a crowd of undecided voters. Current Governor Rick Snyder faced off with Democratic challenger Mark Schauer at Wayne State University. The two debated many key issues, including higher education, funding, and taxes. They also butted heads over each other's political experience. Both will continue to campaign heavily across the state until the November election on November 4th.
Statewide elections are approaching, and thanks to MLive Media Group and other sponsors, voters can get involved in a more casual way. Ballot Bash, a live event held in different locations throughout Michigan, provides voters with an opportunity to learn more about the stance of each candidate and engage in political discussion. The second Ballot Bash was held here in Lansing at the Midtown Brewery Company downtown in Washington Square. Speakers included Democratic candidate for governor Mark Schauer and Democratic candidate for Secretary of State Godfrey Dilliard. Voters, media, and supporters got to ask questions and express their concerns. Ballot Bash has also taken place in Grand Rapids and Royal Oak.
The fact that all 8 of the top candidates for the Republicans and Democrats have signed on and shown up for these events show the power of the media institution is still intact, and that the respect they have for voters and the voters' opinions is still very strong.
Coming up, the rumors are true, Aaron. Batman and Superman are on MSU's campus.
Well, that's right, Max. And despite the Spartans' winning streak at home, find out why some are upset about student attendance at the last football game. Tyler Clifford has those stories and more up next.
There are moments of triumph, of discovery, and achievement. But what makes these moments possible? It's the early mornings, the late nights. It's having the will to persevere. So let's take a moment to celebrate. But more importantly, let's salute the will it takes to get there. Spartans will.
When I was green, greener than the hill, where flowers grew and the sun shone still. Now I'm darker than the deepest sea. Just hand me down, give me a place to be.
Well, if you thought the zombie apocalypse was finally here, don't worry, it's not. Relief for you as well as me, right?
Of course.
It was all in fun to raise money for a good cause.
Hundreds of zombies took the streets of downtown Lansing this past week for the 5th annual Zombie Walk. Zombies walked along Lansing's River Trail, leaving from the Lansing Center and finishing at the Capitol. The whole idea is to raise funds for the Lansing Parks and Recreation Youth Scholarship Fund and give food to the Greater Lansing Food Bank. The founder of the event was looking for a different way to be charitable.
Honestly, I could hold any kind of a charity event that I wanted to. I could just hold a can drive and probably get halfway decent results. But it's no fun that way. Zombies are fun. Everybody enjoys zombies right now. People really enjoy the zombie walk aspect of the event.
And the zombie walk raised over $1,000 and more than 300 pounds of food.
MSU's athletic department is not too pleased with student attendance at football games. We talked to athletic director Mark Hollis to find out what they're doing in response.
But first, campus is abuzz with talk of A-list stars hanging around town. Ben Affleck even talked to the football team before practice yesterday. Tyler Clifford is here to give us more details in our on-campus report. Tyler?
Thanks, Aaron. So if you were on campus at all this week, there was no way of getting around the buzz created from filming of Batman vs. Superman. Focal Point's Greg Monahan takes us to the makeshift metropolis.
Profile, put a couple of pictures on there, and then all of a sudden I got the call.
MSU student Nick Blaskowski is getting a chance to play movie star.
They asked me if I wanted to portray a role in this movie. So I said, well, hell yeah. When can I start?
The grad student is playing a small role in Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, which is filming at the Eli and Edith Broad Art Museum on the north side of campus.
Real excited about it.
But not everyone shares Blaskowski's excitement.
It's adding like 10 minutes onto my walks to class.
Filming has shut down the entire museum and the surrounding areas, which has made it hard for some students to get to class.
I mean, it's kind of cool being able to see the action from my window, but in terms of getting to class, like, you're not allowed to go on the sidewalk. You get swarmed by the cops, like, if you set foot over there.
Students are doing just about anything to try to get a better view of the set. You can see some over my shoulder right now trying to peer past the police barricades, and others had even more creative ways to try to get a good view.
Who are you waving to?
This person.
MSU underclassmen Lauren Tam and Choa Yang climbed to the 3rd floor of Berkey Hall to try to scope things out.
I've been waving to all the workers. They're
There was
smiling
a waiter
at us.
that waved back. Most of them just laugh at us.
But even without a fantastic view, they think they've seen a few of the movie's A-list stars.
I don't know.
I will bet money that that was Ben Affleck.
And then someone got back in the car and the car drove away.
While it isn't convenient for everybody, it sure has brought a lot of attention to campus, and it's gotten a lot of people excited.
I could have never dreamed that I would get this chance, and I'm going to live it up because it's going to be fun.
For Focal Point, I'm Greg Monahan.
And those students may have been onto something with their sighting of Ben Affleck. He was on campus and stopped by the MSU football practice yesterday afternoon. With a big football game on primetime national TV last week against Nebraska, it was MSU's chance to show off. However, the cameras captured how the student section emptied out early. MSU's football coach and athletic director say they are embarrassed by the turnout. Students have complaints, and the university is figuring out how to make that game experience even better. Michigan State, Nebraska. Everyone knew it was a big game for primetime national TV. Early in the game, the points kept growing for MSU, while the temperature and occasional rain kept falling. And as the Spartans took a lengthy lead, the student section started to empty out. Nebraska's offense caught fire, leaving Coach D'Antonio disappointed.
We needed it to be loud there, and it's a big football game.
And athletic director Mark Hollis tweeted his embarrassment.
It just was so glaring. It was an empty vacuum of space.
Spartan alum Mary Humphreys was watching from home and felt embarrassed.
Well, we knew it was the student section, but the commentators were pointing out that the students were leaving as the game went on.
But no one knew why the students were leaving.
I feel like the games aren't tailored for the students to go to.
Which senior studio arts major Stephen Foster says is what needs changes.
I was cold and every refreshment was too expensive.
Students arrived hours early to get the best seats for a game that lasted 4 hours long.
In the student section, we have a wild atmosphere. It's very intense, no sitting allowed. I do feel guilty for leaving in a way after the fact, but I do wish that the games were more feasible for me and other students to go to.
Mark Hollis and students can both agree that there are concerns with student seating at Spartan football games. Now Hollis wants to work with students to fix those issues and make the Spartan experience that much better.
I've been concerned about our student section and what we're doing as an athletic department to serve our students the best way possible.
Hollis has taken note of Twitter responses and has plans to meet with students.
If a positive comes out of adversity, the positive from those tweets is the discussion is now on the table, and it hasn't been.
They're proactively trying to get more people to go to the games and stay to the game.
I think the smallest thing makes a champion. It takes you from good to great. Right now, the small thing that I want to see changed is what can we do to create the most energy in that stadium from kickoff to the end of the game? And we're making those changes.
Hollis wants to see these changes ready by next season. The next home games are against big rivals Michigan and Ohio State. We'll have more on MSU football coming up later in sports. MSU School of Packaging is known for being one of the best in the nation, but this is a major that involves a lot more than just learning how to fold boxes. Focal Point Santiago Montiel shows us why it gets so many accolades.
This is a place where tissues and bug spray are put in glass cases. Located on the south side of MSU's campus, the School of Packaging is one of the few schools in the country devoted to teaching and developing the packages that include anything from cookies to toilet paper. This lab is focused on package distribution. cardboard boxes are compressed, dropped, and set in airplane and bus-like environments to test if the packages can survive the trip.
These packages are the consumer's first interaction with the product.
Internship coordinator Ron Iwaskiewicz says packaging is not a career for those who seek a lot of attention.
When you do your job well, nobody will notice because that package acts exactly like it's supposed to. It contains, it protects, it provides utility.
91% of packaging graduates find a job within 6 months, and an average salary of $57,000 annually.
Different closures will have like a different amount of like force.
Brett Mooney is a senior at the School of Packaging. He is currently applying for a job at Owens, Illinois, the biggest glass packaging manufacturer worldwide. He's really happy with what the School of Packaging has to offer.
From MSU and you're looking in a job in packaging, a lot of people recognize MSU as a good school. So
the School of Packaging has 850 undergraduate students, but over 8,000 alumni working in places like Kraft, Gerber, Procter & Gamble, and Kellogg's.
Whether it's a tub of yogurt, a bottle of Windex, or whatever it is, you have the opportunity to impact people's lives.
So next time you open a bag of chips or use a spray to clean your shower, there's a good chance someone from the MSU School of Packaging helped with that. For Focal Point, I'm Santiago Montiel.
And that's what's happening on campus. I'm Tyler Clifford. Guys, back to you all.
Thank you, Tyler. Well, Old Town became Germantown last week with the 9th annual Oktoberfest.
Beer lovers came out in full force to enjoy the festival inspired by the oldest German fair. For 2 days, all guests 21 and older were invited to enjoy the festival featuring 25 German beers on tap, local food vendors, and live music. The fair is the largest fundraiser dedicated to revitalizing the historic Old Town district.
4,000 people passed through our gates yesterday. We have all types of people that come out. We have people that just love Old Town and they love to partake in what Old Town does. We have people that just want to come and drink the beer and get their fun glass mug. And today it's beautiful, it's bright, it's sunny, and we're in the mid-50s. It's perfect fall weather.
The fair typically raises $40,000 each year for the Old Town Commercial Association.
Up next, the Spartan football team continues to plow through Big Ten opponents, and head coach Mark D'Antonio reaches a milestone in his career.
Plus, the MSU hockey team is back on the ice and gearing up for the season. Santiago Montiel is here to show you the highlights up next in sports.
There are moments of triumph, of discovery, and achievement. But what makes these moments possible? It's the early mornings, the late nights. It's having the will to persevere. So let's take a moment to celebrate. But more importantly, let's salute the will it takes to get there. Spartans will.
When I was green, greener than the hill, where flowers grew and the sun shone still. Now I'm darker than the deepest sea. Just hand me down, give me a place to be.
The MSU football team has gotten 2 wins in as many weeks, with victories over Nebraska and Purdue. MSU started off red hot against the Nebraska Cornhuskers in the Spartans' first night game of the year. The team was up 27-3 early on thanks to touchdowns from Tony Lippett and Jeremy Langford. However, Michigan State was outscored 19-0 in the fourth quarter and had to rely on a late interception from Trey Waynes to steal a 27-22 victory. And the team continued its winning ways this past weekend, downing Purdue in a close game on the road in West Lafayette, Indiana. 3 Spartan touchdowns early on put MSU up 21-3, but the big lead did not last. A fourth quarter rally by the Boilermakers cut the lead to just 7, but a late interception returned for a touchdown from linebacker Darian Harris sealed the Spartan victory, as the team left town with a 45-31 victory. Quarterback Connor Cook threw for a trio of touchdowns, and Nick Hale ran for 2 more, as the Spartans improved their record to 5-1 on the season. Halfway through the season, D'Antonio said he's pleased with how his team has played.
Every game is a different set of problems, different set of circumstances for every aspect of our football team, and I think you just continually try and get better. Statistically, we've given up some plays, but we've won the football games.
MSU will head back to Indiana this weekend to take on the Indiana Hoosiers. After that, it's a home game against rivals Michigan Wolverines. And this Saturday will mark game number 100 for Mark D'Antonio since coming to the school in 2007. When asked about that this week, D'Antonio didn't take much of the credit.
The continuity that we've had as a staff throughout this time has been largely responsible for our success, both on the playing field and off the playing field. When I say that, I mean our players too.
The MSU's women's volleyball team swept Iowa on Saturday night, taking all 3 sets at Jenison Fieldhouse. The Spartans, now 10-7 overall, defeated the Hawkeyes with scores of 25-15, 25-17, and 25-18. Corey Moster had a milestone game as she became the 9th Big Ten player with most career digs. MSU also posted a season-high 10 service aces. With an even up at 3-3 in conference play, head coach Kathy George said the next 2 weeks will be very important for her team.
For us, what we're looking to do right now is to clean up our side of the net and really improve over the next 2 weeks of practice, where we can kind of shore up some of our weaknesses. I think we've been making too many errors, unforced errors.
The Spartans will be away for 4 consecutive matches, facing Maryland, Rutgers, Ohio State, and Penn State. The Spartan hockey season is underway as the team opened up playing an exhibition against the University of Windsor. MSU has a young team this year with a roster that features 14 underclassmen. After Windsor got off to a 1-0 lead, Brent Darnell tied the game up at 1, and soon after, defense Ron Boyd gave the Spartans the lead. Windsor would tie it up in the 3rd period, and the teams would end up skating to a 2-2 tie. That's what's happening in sports. I'm Santiago Montiel. Max, Aaron, back to you guys.
All right, Santiago, thank you very much. And finally tonight, more Broadway fun at the Wharton Center this week. The musical once debuted October 14th with a limited run right here on campus. It's a musical based on the 2007 Academy Award-winning film that tells the story of an Irish musician and a Czech immigrant drawn together for their shared love of music. Once is the winner of 8 Tony Awards, including Best Musical. The movie was made for only $150,000 but grossed $20 million worldwide. The show is in town until Sunday, October 19th, and tickets can be purchased at the Wharton Center box office or online at whartoncenter.com. And that's our show for tonight. I'm Aaron Jordan.
And I'm Max Gunn. We leave you now with a little Beatles tribute courtesy of the Spartan Marching Band. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on Focal Point. Have a great night.